After 3 weeks in Mumbai, I had most of my issues solved and it was time to leave the city. During the night I charged the car from the 3rd floor of the Ministry of New. I've almost became a MacGyver during this trip. Alright, time to move. Alright, so this morning we left from Mumbai. It's Tuesday today and we're set off for a very long route. Going to travel to Bangladesh or Calcutta, the final destination in India, which is about 2,200 kilometers. Lucky for... As you probably noticed, the sound is terrible as I forgot to close the mount. As you can see, I am not traveling alone. I'm with Prajak, who introduces himself here nicely, but this was not hearable. Prajak is a journalist based in Mumbai and will accompany me until Calcutta and is writing an article about me. In the afternoon we arrived in Nashik, where we were welcomed by Ira, Amit and Jui. They found me through Kedar, who is someone who found me via the Plug-in India group. The environment was something we discussed a lot today.
We are freelance ecological consultants, and freelance ecological consultants means like we work in the field of biodiversity studies and doing environmental impact assessments of various projects, various like dams and many constructions, but it's all non-industrial. Like we focus on some social issues, so like dams, we challenge various EIAs done by government agencies to help out the local people to work on and to get their own rights. So these are the things which we do. It's a mixed bundle of like couple of things we do, and like we get money from that. That's it.
Amit is one of the few Indians who have solar panels on their roof and cooks his food every day with a solar cooker. A handyman this guy, which is in India known as Jugaad?
Jugaad, yeah.
Jugaad.
Jugaad. You can spell J-U-G-A-D, like something like Jugaad. Jugaad is a very interesting term we use in India. Jugaad is nothing but a kind of a DIY, you can say. Assembling couple of things with the things which you are going to throw away and make it usable. I can give you the classic example. The thing is in my hand. Like I used to do these things from my childhood. You can see this is a PVC pipe, couple of nut bolts. This is a wing nut, and inside there is, if you can see, there is one lithium-ion battery which I have extracted from my dead laptop battery. And what I've converted is, this is a one RGB or a multi-LED, you can say. I've made one blinker, one tail lamp of my bicycle, and just if I put it, it starts emitting light and it blinks continuously. So I can, while traveling, I'll be noticeable at night times when I'm riding. So this is a typical example of Jugaad, I can say you.
The next day we went for a lunch at a restaurant where the family introduced us to some local specialities. What is it what we're eating?
We are eating misal. Misal is a spiced sprouts, you can say, and it's often eaten with bread, that is pav.
And is it specialty from this region?
It's a specialty of Nasik, and like everyone who comes to Nasik, is mandatory for him to have misal. Without them we don't let them go. So okay. That's a very delightful, like very tasty dish. And this is jalebi, what you are looking at. This is a jalebi made from jaggery. It's very healthy, it's very tasty, it's sweet, so you're going to like it, definitely.
When the car was charged, we set off to the next destination, Dhule. Around 9 o'clock tonight we arrived here at the hotel. This hotel was offered by Vibren and Anwar, who are working for Recharge in Mumbai, and they arranged that we could stay here and have a place for stay for us tomorrow. It was a bit of a problem to charge a car. The first plug we found at the hotel was this one. But the current was not stable enough. It popped out every time, and they told us that this was the only socket they have here in all of the hotel. But luckily we were able to find one other one at the other side of the hotel. I'm walking there now. So this is the back side of the hotel, and we managed to charge a car. We're charging it from the front of the car. The cable is going from here to the plug here, obviously. Typical current in India is 15 ampere. Ideally is 16 ampere, but it's not that of a difference. Although we'd start charging on 15, but it popped out continuously. So we switched it to 13 ampere, and it seems stable now. But that was not the only problem we had today and also yesterday. So bad luck. I was just telling that everything is stable now and okay. However, it stopped charging again. It gives an error code 11. meaning that the current is either not stable enough or it's just too low. So I'm gonna switch it to, I'm gonna switch it to 10 ampere just to be sure, and we'll keep watching it for a while and hoping that it will charge on 10 ampere. But the other problems I mentioned about was that today we were driving yesterday, and then the BMS, the battery management system, started beeping. And in the beginning I had no idea what it was because I couldn't see anything on the display. However, later we will find out that the battery got too hot. Apparently at 46 degrees it's starting to give warning signals. And so you have to stop the car and wait until it cools down. But it also means that the car doesn't charge. It does charge from the front, like we're doing now, but in the back of the car it doesn't charge, which is the more convenient way. The time is now about 2 o'clock and we switched the car a couple of times. But it has been charging for an hour and a half now and it seems it's going alright. But it has been a big hassle. But anyway, we'll see in the morning. It's time to sleep. Bye. It's Wednesday morning. I had a pretty shitty night. The car didn't charge well and the security guys, they woke me up like every time the car stopped charging. Which happened quite a lot, almost every 50 minutes, or sometimes I was lucky and it took an hour and a half. It's now almost 12 o'clock and the car is charged now only 60%. It's now charging stable because we're charging with at the back of the car, and that was not possible yesterday because the battery was still too hot. Luckily we just have to do 90 kilometers today. So we could make that with 60%. Only a few days ago we decided not to drive between 11 and 4 because that's the hottest period of the day, obviously. And we had some issues because the battery overheated and we couldn't continue. So to avoid that we want to drive before or after that, so now it's obviously after that. But I'm worried because it's going to happen a lot of more times this trip that it's going to get even hotter, so I don't really know how to handle it yet. It's 4:30 now, we just left 5 minutes ago. It's supposed to be colder now, but it's still 43 degrees outside. We managed to charge the car until 75%, and it's about 100 kilometers to Jalgaon. So we should easily make that. Roads here are not the best. This thing we are driving now is officially the highway, but has only one lane, and the max speed we reached today was just 60 kilometers an hour. And it took us almost 5 hours for a 130 kilometers trip. The traffic itself is also not easy. There aren't any rules here and you need a 360 view to stay out of any accidents. Also, we found ourselves mostly stuck behind trucks, and driving at night is definitely not a party too. We did manage to make it to Jalgaon around 9 PM. Yeah, let's make sure we just arrived at the factory.
Huh?
And
tomorrow.
In the morning?
Yeah, tomorrow we're gonna see the factory indeed.
Yes.
And you're the bosses, eh? Boss, factory boss. Yeah, big boss of the factory who produces the charging stations. Eh? You produce charging stations. Yeah, amazing. So tomorrow we're going to see that. And but now we're going to plug in the car.
Yeah.
We're going. They produce charging stations here, but we cannot charge it with a charging station because they didn't install it. Because yeah, who drives electric cars in this city anyway? So we're just gonna charge it on the regular socket. This is where we plugged in the car. Obviously, it's a socket, then, like any other socket. We don't really need to explain that. But I was just curious if it will work or not. Because yesterday the battery was 45 degrees, like it's now, and it wouldn't charge. But now we plugged it in and it charged. Yesterday this number stayed on 0, but now -6. So we're charging. And actually today we did about 140 kilometers with 60%. which is quite good. It's really good. So with the bosses we went to a fairly dark but still cozy restaurant, and eventually they brought us to the guest house where we could spend the night. And here we also called it a day. So this video covered the first 3 days of the road trip through India, and there are many more to come. So please subscribe and don't miss anything of this crazy road trip.